In this video, we're talking about Rome regrets. Yes, some people visit Rome and they have major regrets. We don't want you to have any regrets when you visit Rome. That's why our channel is all about trying to help you have a great time in Rome. But despite that, many people do have regrets. And there are two regrets that I hear most often that people, when going to Rome, have major regrets about. I'm going to talk about both of them in this video. I've got lots to share with you. Let's get started. Many people, when visiting Rome, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So if things go wrong, they don't get a chance for a redo.
Redo, redo, redo.
So with that in mind, one of the biggest regrets people have is visiting Rome in the wrong season. If you're 40, 50 plus, do not visit Rome June, July, and August. That's a young person, a foolish person's game. It's just too crowded and too hot. So you might be wondering, when is the greatest time to visit Rome? Well, that's really up to you. If you're looking for ideal weather, I would say March and April are fantastic months. May is also typically very good weather, but the crowds, again, do get pretty substantial. So it's not so bad if you're having to deal with the crowds and not the heat, but if you want to avoid the crowds, now it's crowded in March and April, but nothing like May. And then at the end of the year, September is also kind of like May. The weather turns cooler and it's much more pleasant in Rome. The crowds are still pretty persistent, but at least, again, you're not dealing with crowds and hot weather. And then you run into October, which towards the end of October, it slowly slows down. And in my opinion, the best months to visit Rome, November, December, January, February, and early March are my favorite months in Rome. And probably my personal favorite are the first 2 weeks in December. Yes, it can be cold, but not that cold. Let's consider everything. It's not usually below freezing, and it can rain at times, but in my opinion, having it rain once or twice during your vacation is not the worst thing. And the crowds are very light, yet you still get the festive, as a city kind of prepares for Christmas. The lights start to go up, the decorations go up, the different Christmas trees throughout the city start to appear, the nativity scenes. Just the whole atmosphere in Rome is very, very good in December. Now, if you're visiting the second half of December, closer to Christmas and New Year's, it begins to be crowded again, but it's a whole different type of crowd. It is mostly Italians mixed with some Europeans, and it's more of a festive, a party atmosphere opposed to a touristy kind of a, tourists have when it's crowded, it's like get in line, stand there, look at this. People are looking at the city and not enjoying the city. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. If you're there during the Christmas time, yes, it's crowded, but it's people there enjoying the city more than just looking at the city. So I wouldn't personally, object to being in Rome for Christmas. In fact, I'd highly recommend it. It can be a lot of fun. Even if it's a bit crowded, it's a super fun time to be in Rome. And then you run into January, probably the overall slowest month in Rome. Slowest meaning if you go to the Vatican City or you head to the Colosseum, you're going to have very minimal lines there. There's still plenty to do. Everything's open. The weather's typically pretty decent. Yes, it's a little bit chilly. It can get down in near freezing. Rarely does it get below freezing, but at times early in the mornings it does. And you have to deal with that a little bit. But again, the alternative to being there in the hot summer months with the big crowds, I'll take the cold temperatures with no crowds anytime. Then as you enter into February, the temperatures do start to warm up quite a bit. Crowds start to creep back up, but nothing bad. February is a fantastic month to be in Rome, as well as March. Now, March is a fantastic month. The weekends can be very busy. They usually have the Rome Marathon in March and a few other activities in March over the weekends. But the weekdays are fairly reasonable crowds. Weather's fantastic. just love Rome in March. So that kind of gives you an idea. If you're trying to avoid the crowds, you probably want to go the months I mentioned. If you're trying to avoid the heat, stay out of there from June, July, and August. It's not just hot, it can also be at times very humid. Humid, hot, crowded, avoid it if you can. If you can't avoid it, watch my video about beating Rome. Some great tips to help you navigate Rome even on a hot, crowded day. The next big regret, most people don't even realize it, but it is not being in shape. No, you're not running a marathon. You don't have to get in crazy shape to visit Rome, but you are kind of walking a marathon. You're walking far more than you're used to when you're in Rome. In fact, I suggest you start to walk 10,000, 15,000 steps a day before arriving in Rome. Because when you're in Rome, you're going to walk between 15,000 and some days maybe as much as 25,000 steps in a day. And if you're not used to it, you're not going to be able to do it. Meaning you're going to have great plans, you're going to plan on seeing all these things, and about halfway through the day, all you're going to want to do is head back to your Airbnb or hotel and take a nap.
Nap time!
And you're going to miss out on those opportunities of really exploring Rome. So before heading to Rome, it's very important that you go on walks.
Let's take a walk.
A walk?
Put the car in the garage and walk to the grocery store, walk to the gym. Just get in shape. Make sure you're doing a minimum of 15,000 steps a day before coming to Rome, so that way when you're in Rome, you can make the most of your days in Rome. Yes, you can take taxis, you can take public transportation, but even with taxis and public transportation, you're going to find that you do walk an awful lot in Rome. And honestly, the best way to get around Rome, the best way to really enjoy the city is on foot. Yes, at times you will take other transportation, but being on foot allows you to see the most of Rome, having the best experience in Rome. And now that we're talking about walking, another thing I see far, far too often are people tending their feet. They're taking their shoes off, looking at their blisters, figuring out how to continue walking. And trust me, once your feet are done, you're pretty much done.
Look at my foot. Blisters on top of the blisters.
So wear comfortable shoes, and more than anything, be prepared to walk a lot. Get in shape for that. Your feet get adjusted to it, your body gets adjusted to it, and you're going to have a great time in Rome. Otherwise, unfortunately, you may have major Rome regret. We want to thank all those that have subscribed to our channel, that have watched our videos, and that have purchased our Rome Travel Guida. It's our Rome Travel Guide. I'm going to put a link in the description of this video with a good discount code where you can pick it up for right around $20. The guide includes over 50 videos to help you plan and have a great time in Rome. And it includes interactive maps where we share our favorite pizzerias, our favorite gelaterias, favorite restaurants, a lot of great food in Rome we don't want you to miss. It includes a 75-page plus PDF that you can download. We think it'll be very helpful to you. Be sure to check that out. If you're heading to Rome or know somebody who is, pick up our travel guide. We'd appreciate it. And to the next one. Alla prossima. Ciao. Say Roma.
Can you say Roma?
Viva Roma.
Viva Roma! Can you go Viva Roma?
Can you say subscribe?